Hi everyone, good afternoon. It is Sunday, September the 24th, and I'm here to tell you about my stitching so far today. Well, I got behind a couple of days working in the Emporium, and this morning I had to actually stitch on the called for letters in ABCingo, the letter, and the number in my North Alabama group for my bingo group from yesterday. And that was the letter U. And for me, I was using that U to be underneath one another because for me, my queens in my Royal Games 1 are underneath each other. In fact, they are totally underneath each other. Depending on which way you turn it, there's one underneath the other. So I felt like that qualified. I'm working on this one, and I only had to do 100 stitches to qualify. And I wound up doing my usual run the thread out, and so I got 130 stitches today, and I'll show you where I was working on it. I came in here and I did all of the dark teal and then the charcoal gray all in here and up on her gloves. She has on black gloves. So that's getting that arm forming up there. So I'm excited about that. It looks like I have another 2 new colors to do on the arm and a little more of the charcoal further up where it appears again. And then I can move over and wrap up her cape. And it's going to be just a couple of different colors. There's a lot of beads in here, but in her cape, the beads will stop. They're actually in this blue fluff over here. And then I start getting into my other color, and then I'll get into the charcoal again, and we'll wrap up her cape. Once I finish her cape and her arm, then I'm back to doing her neck and face. I'll roll it back up again, and eventually, when I get to that point, all the cross stitching will be done, and we'll be ready for beading and the metallic threads, the Cranix. And there are 2 Cranix in this piece that we're using so far. This beautiful gold and this beautiful pink. So we'll see what more we do with that. But I'm happy with that progress. That I could actually see some progress, even though it was only 130 stitches, which turned out really well. So that brings us to today's call. So today's call on the ABCingo is for the letter F. And for me, that's going to be for fieldstone fabric, and that is my Halloween Quaker. So it's still only, let's see, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So chances are good that I may get to finish that one today and be caught up so that I can finish on time tomorrow. We shall see. But I love it that I have some days at the end of the month to catch up if I need them. Because, you know, doing this weekend and being out of pocket all weekend, all day Friday and all day Saturday, really put a crimp onto the amount of time I had to stitch. So I did catch up my the 22nd, which was my Autumn in the Country by Jess Nan, but I've worked on it a couple of times recently, and all I did was carry the border just another little bit around for 100 stitches. You really couldn't tell much difference, so I didn't film it. But I'm excited. I'm excited that it got it a little bit further along. And then now, when I finish on the 25th tomorrow with my ABCingo call, then I will be able to pick up my last whip go, which is my Autumn in the Village, and it's my 36 count piece that I'm doing with a single strand And I'll have to put in 4 more hours on that this month. And if I do get that done, I will have met all of my WIPGO goals, and I will have met all of the ABCingo goals, and I will have gotten a bingo on my North Alabama bingo card. So, yay! It was a busy month. I know October is going to be vastly different if we get to travel. So, I do say if, because I had a physical recently, and they did an EKG, routine EKG, and they didn't quite like it. So I've been referred to a cardiologist. I have to have a couple of tests done just to make sure everything's okay, but I don't have clearance to travel yet. And we are supposed to leave on October the 8th. So I won't see the cardiologist to get my results of my test until October 5th, y'all. The 5th. So anyway, wish me well. If you are a praying person, say prayers for me. And if you aren't a praying person, well wishes would be appreciated anyway. And I'm just praying and hoping that those tests come out normal, and that nothing is really wrong, and that I can be approved to go on my trip with my husband and my retreat. So, got my fingers crossed. So, if I get to travel, which is my hope and prayer, I will be having to do a whole new adjustment, for my stitching in the month of October, because I can't take everything with me. So I will have to look at the acrostics very carefully. I will have to make sure that I use some of the same whips over again to lower the number that I need to take with me for the month. If I get to do everything I want to do, I'll only be at home 6 days in October. So I really do have to look at it carefully. And I've already come up with a first blush of doing the acrostics for 24 hours in the Magazine Monthly Challenge. But I've got to go back down and look at them with the thought of how can I whittle down the whips I'm going to use to accomplish this to something I can carry with me. I don't have to keep everything on a Q-snap because we will be driving on our vacation, and I would have plenty of room in the car for my roller frames. But, I still don't want to have to take them all. There's too many. So we'll see. We'll see how that gets on. But for now, I'm going to pull out Halloween Quaker. I'm going to get those stitches done so I'm caught up, and then I can go to planning if I want to. I hope you've had a great weekend thus far. I hope you're having a restful Sunday, and I hope to talk with you hopefully later this evening to let you know I've caught up with ABCingo. I'll be back. Happy stitching, everybody. So one of the things I wanted to share with you is that I do have a little footage for you from my husband's hike. He got several pictures. He got people to take pictures, and he took several pictures of the scenery in Connecticut while he was hiking. And I'm going to put those at the end of the video. He hasn't made a video per se. He usually does that when he does a long hike, but he wasn't gone long enough really to get enough footage for that. But whatever he has, he's going to share with me, and I will put it at the end of the video because I know a lot of you enjoy seeing where he's hiking and the countryside, and so I'll put that at the end of this video. Well, hello again, I'm back. The good news is I've caught up. I caught up with my ABCingo through today. I'm so excited. The letter for today was F, and that was for fieldstone fabric in my Halloween Quaker. So this will give you a reminder of what the full Halloween Quaker will look like when it's finished. And I had started on this motif and had done all of the dark stitching in it. And all I had left was the orange blend of it's a blend of two colors to finish that motif, and then I could start back over across the next row. So today, as I as is our norm for the ABCingo, we only had to get 100 stitches, but I wound up getting 159 because I wanted to finish that motif. So there are those cute little pumpkins. I have to admit, when I first saw that motif and I started stitching all this, and I saw this at the bottom that looked like a basket, I thought it was a basket of flowers. I wasn't looking at the front of the pattern, I was only looking at the black and white photocopy that I make for a working copy. And so that looked like flowers when it was just arrows on the pattern. And I don't think it was until I saw this finished and on the wall at Garon Stitchery that I saw they were pumpkins. And then today when I pulled it out, I had to chuckle because that was what I stitched on today to hit my 100 stitches, although it took 159 to finish it. That was great. It is, as I mentioned, a blend of 720 and 721. They're very close together. One is just a little darker than the other, but it gives it a beautiful color. And so now I am ready. The next time that I pick this up, I will be ready to do one of two things. I can come down here and hit these 3 small motifs. If I were doing the ABCingo where you only needed 100 stitches, that's probably what I would do. But otherwise, what will happen is I'll come over here because I've stitched this small motif already, and it'll be time for this big one right here. In fact, I think most of them across here are fairly large, except for those 3 little ones right there. So some pretty heavy stitching for the remainder of it, even though it does appear that I'm about halfway through. Not quite. Pretty close. Maybe after these 3, I should say I'm halfway through. But that does indicate that this would be a good one to plan on finishing in 2024. So that might go on my year of whips next year. Wouldn't that be fun? I haven't even thought about that yet. I do need to think about that. Anyway, sorry that it took me a little while to get back. You don't know the difference. It's a few seconds for you, but I had to stop what I was doing and run to the Home Depot for my husband. He is spray painting our back deck. This deck has needed to be repaired and painted ever since we moved in 2 years ago. But we had more pressing things to do. You know, there were other things that we really wanted to do first with the house. Mainly the yard. There was a lot of shrubbery that had to be removed, cut back, and the yard had to be have a little TLC to come back. And Tommy has done a wonderful job with that. And he knew that this back deck was going to be a big job because someone started sanding on it and had left it bare wooded, you know, for a while. And we had so much rain, he couldn't get out there and have enough dry days to do much with it. So we finally covered it in tarps, let it get good and dry. And then when he came back early from his hike, and we knew that Coco was already at her friend Fred's house, we could have gone and picked her up early. But I asked, do you want some uninterrupted time to work on that deck because the weather's beautiful? And he did. So he spent every single day that Coco was at Fred's that week working, sanding, repairing, bleaching, everything he needed to do to clean that deck up and make it pristine and like new. He replaced boards, he did some filler, and he just sanded it till it was beautifully smooth, and now he's painting it. And I'm hoping that he'll get finished with it, hopefully today. His big goal was to finish it before we were to start traveling in October, and I'm pretty sure he's going to make that. In fact, he may make it today or tomorrow. He's been working at it really, really hard. So, what little bit I could do was when he needed more paint is to run to Home Depot and get it. So that was a small contribution to make. So I didn't get to film until I got back, but I finished this right before I left. It couldn't have been more perfect timing. My husband just said, you know, can you help me for a second? And I had just put in the final stitch. So I want to give you a look. I took the Q-snaps off. I want to show you what it looks like now. And I am loving it on this fabric. I think Fieldstone fabric was a really pretty color to choose. So I'm happy with how it's looking. I think everything's showing up well on the fabric. No problem there. So I'm going to put it away. And tomorrow we have our final letter. So we all know what it is already. But we have our final letter, which is C. And for me, that will be casting a spell. No, it was casting a spell until I finished it. And then I crossed that out and wrote Cranberry Christmas. And so I'll get to pull that out again and put another 100 stitches in it. Real excited about that. So I will do that now, get it ready for tomorrow. I won't stitch on it till tomorrow. That's breaking the rules. But I will get it ready for tomorrow. And I had thought I was going to cook supper tonight, but my husband asked me to wait because he would feel bad if I got it ready, and he was right in the middle of his painting, and he would, you know, not be able to leave what he was doing, and then I'd be sitting here holding dinner for him for, you know, there's no telling how long. So I think what we're going to do is I'll put that meal off until tomorrow, and we will probably just run get us something really quick. My son is here, our son is here visiting, and he is he's on a phone call right now with a friend, and I'm hoping when he gets finished, he and I can run get something for dinner and bring Dad something back that he would enjoy. So that'll be fun. So I wanted to go ahead and color in my square on my ABCingo, just so you could see I only have one square left for a blackout. Isn't that awesome? I'm happy about that. It has been crazy having to change so much of it because I finished things, but that was the only way I'd have something to stitch in that square. So there you have it. All right, I'm gonna let you get back to what you were doing. I'm gonna find me something else to stitch on, possibly. I'm avoiding working on my quilt. I did have a couple of suggestions that were very helpful. And on a Zoom call Thursday, this past Thursday, Lori from Once Upon a Stitch, who quilts, looked at the fabrics that I had pulled together out of my stash and what I had left to put in the quilt, liked my choices, and gave me some good guidance on how to get those things pulled together into a quilt top. And I was able to ask her some questions about the sashings and things like that so that it hopefully will look decent. And I also had an offer from Candy, the 614 Stitcher, that she can help me out if I get in a bind. I can call her maybe for a consult. So thank you, ladies, very, very much. I had a very good comment also from a viewer who let me know that I might take one of those really small pieces and put it on the back of the quilt and embroider my name and the date that I make the quilt. Any pertinent information I want to put on it, I could just embroider it on that piece and attach it to the back, applique it, you know, on the back as a label for the quilt, which is a great idea. So I think definitely will be working on that for this Christmas, hoping to get that one done. Anyway, then I got to figure out how I'm going to quilt the thing. I don't have a long arm, so I will more than likely just be doing it on my sewing machine or by hand. I don't think I have enough time to do it by hand because I would be very slow at that. Very slow. And I already got to put the binding on by hand, but I don't think I want to quilt it by hand. I have quilted by hand before, and it takes me a long time. So I don't want to do that anymore. But anyway, thank you all for your feedback and your suggestions. I really appreciate it. I might make it through this because I really want to. I want to make it for my friend. So I will say good night and hopefully check in with you tomorrow or a day or two from now, and when I have something more to share with you. Happy stitching. Hi everyone, how are you? Well, I have just finished ABCingo today. I want to share with you what I did and how I wound up doing this month. I am thrilled to let you know that I caught up, and today I was able to just stitch on the final letter, which was C, and for me that was Cranberry Christmas, and I pulled it back out. So here is my ABCingo board, completely blacked out. It is colored in. I did all of those, even with all the substitutions that I had to make. This is what my C stood for, Cranberry Christmas. You know, I'm working on my final one, this larger one here. And if you've been watching, you know I changed out the lettering for red in this one. So today, when I got ready to do my 100 stitches, I did this little branch right here and the 6 flowers that are in that darkest red color, and that gave me 113 stitches. So that is where I landed at the end of ABCingo. So there you have it. I'm going to put this back in my floor stand simply because I have company coming tomorrow to stitch, and this one is one I think I can handle while I'm talking and visiting and that sort of thing. So I'm going to leave it ready for tomorrow, and we'll be stitching with Juliana, working on that one. So there you go. It's been a great day. It's been a great Monday. Tickled to death to get my ABCingo completed. So with that completion, I've finished all my acrostics and my ABCingo. And because I finished ABCingo, I've also finished my bingo in the North Alabama Stitchers group, because I was using the exact same project for each of those for this month. I have one final whip go call, as I mentioned before. My Autumn in the Village, I have to get 4 hours in it in order to meet that. But again, I have until the end of the year to get that done. So I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself about it. I am days, literally days away from going on vacation, and I have got to get my head around what I'm going to take with me. So today's the 25th. We get the whip go numbers tonight from Jessie Marie, and that's for next month. And so I can look and see what gets called and see if I can take any of it with me, and that will be big to do that. And then I have the acrostics already kind of made up, first blush, first glance at them, that I need to go back and review once I see what whip go pieces I have, because those haven't been published anywhere yet. I haven't put them out there yet. It wouldn't matter if I had. I can always change them, you know. But I just wanted to let you know I'm still in the planning mode for October, just trying to get it organized well. So I want to take a moment, straighten up my craft room a little bit. I've got quilting in one spot, I got sewing in a spot, I've got stitching over here. I need to kind of tidy up before my company comes so that they have a comfortable, clean place to stitch tomorrow. And then I think I'll sit down and do a little bit of planning. I'm excited about doing that now that I've got ABCingo completed and I'm ready to go. I will tell you this, I had so much fun today. I was editing a video that hopefully will come up either tonight or tomorrow when it gets done. And it's a fun video. It's part of my ABCingo stitching, but it's also a visit from my friend Donna. I finally got Donna to get our schedules together. She agreed to come over and do a video with me about our trip when we went shopping at Garon Stitchery. And she brought her stitching with her and showed you some of her stitching. And we just had a lovely conversation. It was just like we were sitting here talking. And I had so much fun doing that. But I got tickled all over again editing it today. By now you've seen it, so I won't be ruining any surprises. But my son was here, and he was cooking dinner for all of us, including Donna. And he came sneaking up the stairs. I was busy recording and looking directly into the camera. And all of a sudden, he comes up the stairs, and he's doing like this to Donna, you know. And she didn't say a word. And then he all of a sudden showed up, popped right up in front of me. He's so funny. He photobombed us. It's what he did. It was great. But anyway, he shouted out, said hello to everybody, and then had to go back down and do his cooking. But he is going through his first site survey at his new job as the manager of a department for the first time, and he's trying to make sure everything is, you know, all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, and get everything ready for that. And I know what he's going through. So send him good wishes and positive thoughts, and thank you for that. Probably by the time you see this, that may already have occurred, but if not, at least, you know, we can wish him well. I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing, hopefully stitching, and I am going to hopefully have more to share with you either tomorrow or Wednesday on my stitching progress, and maybe even some plans for October by then. So in the meantime, happy stitching! Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is late, much later on the 25th of September. I just got off my Zoom call with my friends, and I'm about to head to bed, but I wanted to show you what I accomplished tonight while we were stitching. This afternoon, I did pull Cranberry Christmas to hit the final call for ABCingo, and this is the one I'm working on. And I had finished this cake plate with the house cake on it, and I had come across here and I had done this branch and the one color of red flowers across here for my 113 stitches today. And then I decided just to keep stitching while I was doing the Zoom call tonight. And I wound up getting a total of 423 stitches for the day. And I finished the top. I'm so excited. Got the top done. And now I can concentrate the next time I pull it out on the bottom, getting the branch done. And there are 4 branches of leaves and flowers that are hanging down, sort of like swags off of here. So that is all that's left. So it's a lot of stitches. It's probably even more than what I did tonight at 423. So I'm probably going to close it up for the day. I don't know that I will pull it out again tomorrow either. So I'm going to put it in my project bag here. Like my little Christmas bag I've got it in. And I will put everything away for now and work on it another day. So I'm going to call it a night. I have a friend coming to stitch tomorrow, and my whip go calls are here, so I'm going to call it a night and do a little bit of planning so that I can determine how I'm going to fold in my whip go pieces with my acrostics that I know about so far. So I'll do that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go to bed, but I will hopefully have some stitching to share with you tomorrow night. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Dina. It is the 26th of September. It is Tuesday night, and I wanted wanted to come along here and show you what I've been stitching today. First of all, I had a friend over to stitch today, and Juliana came and we sat and talked about our trip, my trip with Donna recently. We talked about, I showed her all the things I had purchased, and then she wanted to see firsthand, up close, all of my new starts that I had planned for 2024. She wanted to see them. Again, she wanted to see the fabric. So we ran through those really quick. And then I sat down and I had to figure out what I wanted to stitch on. And I will tell you, I didn't want to stitch on my 36 count single strand piece, Autumn in the Village, while I had company. I just didn't think I could concentrate enough on it. It's pretty heavy confetti, and I just didn't think that would be conducive for me. And I had just worked on my Cranberry Christmas last night on a Zoom call and finished the top part of it. I just didn't want to work on it again today. I needed a break from it. So I thought, what am I going to do? And then it hit me. Part of my new starts for 2024 are gift stitches. And I had said I was going to take a couple of those with me on my trip. So they're going to be started on my travels. So I decided I better check and make sure I had kitted them all up. And I got out one of them. It's actually what I'm going to do for my sister Stephanie. And I pulled the threads all together that I had in the project bag with all of my puppy dog patterns, thinking they were threads that I had pulled for that pattern that I'm going to do for my sister. No, they're threads I've pulled for a different pattern in that package. I don't know which one. I'll have to go look. But none of the threads I needed were there. Not a one. I am so glad I pulled it out and looked at it. So I got out my DMC and I pulled all my colors. I had to create a conversion. I looked, there were 3 Weeks Dye Works colors that were called for. I didn't have any of the 3 in my stash. I've either put them in other kits or I didn't have them at all. So I just went through colors in my DMC and I picked what I liked. And so I did my own color conversion. I have written it out, got the symbols drawn next to it and everything ready to go. So then I thought, well, I could at least get a little start on this. So I did. So Stephanie, you need to look away. But I'll remind everyone else, this is the present that I want to stitch for my sister. The designer is Lindy Stitches. This is a fairly new one. I think it came out this year actually. And so I pulled a beautiful fabric that I thought would look great on this. And today when Juliana was here, we were talking about these and what colors they normally are and that sort of thing. And so I'm doing mine a combination of the colors that we found online today that were beautiful. Instead of doing them all the same color, I'm doing a mixture and I'm adding white in there. So anyway, there you have it. There's 2 of the 3 of those. And the other thing I decided to do today, just to make sure, I measured this again before I got started, but just to make sure about my placement, I went ahead and I stitched the entire width right here on the heel so that I would know for sure. And of course, there you have it. This is the full width of it, so I'm doing fine there. So today I stitched 365 stitches on my new start. And so Stephanie, you can look back now. I think that's a great new start. I think that's a good place to be as I'm looking at taking this for travel stitching. It'll be easy, very easy for me to just pick it up and count off of where I've stitched and keep going. And so I'm happy about that. That worked out well. So if you're interested in what I'm taking with me, I will try to share that with you at a later date because I may change my mind. But I will tell you this. I pulled out the Whipco calls for October and my 2 acrostics that I have access to right now. And I looked at projects that I was using for Whipco and for multiple acrostics. And I wrote a list of those down. And I have, let's see, 9 that I want to take with me. And that is lovely because I will actually be traveling 14 days. So to only have 9 projects for 14 days is not bad. I would be tempted to take 14, thinking I would stitch on a different one each day. But if I only take 9, that means that I get to stitch on some of them more than one day. And that could possibly mean a finish or 2 while I'm gone, which would be great. I would like that. So that's my report today. It was cute. I did take Coco on a walk this morning before my friend got here. And I ran into my neighbor, my next door neighbor, as I was heading out to walk with Coco. She was heading out for her walk. And we talked a little bit up the street a ways. And then she took on off to get a fast walk. Coco, as you know, likes to do a safari. And so that's what we did. And on our way back from Coco and I walking out away from the house, we go a certain distance and then we turn around and come back. Loki's mom had let him out in the front yard. So she got to play with Loki today. She's so excited about that. And she got her feet all wet and muddy. Had to bring her in and wash her feet. But it was well worth it because she had a ball. So that was good. And then, of course, this evening, my husband took her for a nice long walk. And so right before dark. And that was great. She came home and kind of plopped down to go to bed, I think. But I am excited to tell you my husband has finished his project. He was working on our back deck and completely sanding it down and cleaning it and repairing it and painting it. And he's got that finished. He finished that today, and he's so excited about having that done. He really is. We're going out for breakfast together in the morning just to celebrate. I'm looking forward to that. I want to just take a moment and thank you so much. There's comments that are coming already today about how much fun you had watching Donna and I talk about our trip and talk about stitching together. And many of you are encouraging Donna to do more with floss tube and show her work. And so I'm hoping that Donna will come and do some segments with me again, and at the very least, and if she is willing to do her own floss tube channel, I think she will find she is welcome to do that. So thank you for the kind words and the encouragement for that. And I'm glad you enjoyed it because we had a ball. And I was so impressed we did it in one take. That was amazing. I think possibly it was just because we sat and talked like we normally would. And it was just as if you were hanging out with us, which was great. So thanks for the kind words. Well, I'm going to get off to bed. We have an early morning tomorrow. And I am trying to talk myself into finishing my final Whipco goal tomorrow. So we'll see. Wish me luck. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, the 27th of September. We are almost through September. Can you imagine? I'm getting ready to start thinking about my bingo board for my North Alabama group for next month, but I don't know what the pattern's going to be, which is okay. I can go ahead and set up my whips on it and play with the numbers and move them all around before I see the pattern, so that doesn't influence me. Anyway, excited about that. Today I decided to go ahead and tackle another challenge in the Daily 30 group. I read it and it interested me. It was about hurricanes, and I liked the prompts that we were to meet. And the first one that I met today was to stitch on a whip with either a spring or autumn theme, and I chose autumn because I really just wanted to work on this piece one more time. So this is Autumn in the Country, and you know I'm down on like I have this part left to do, and I've been working a little bit around here. So let's see what I got done today. Today's goal was 200 stitches, and I did 205. So I'll show you what that equates to. I came down here, I finished the second row back to finish off a hanging thread that I had here. And then I did this stem that's going to be this same motif right here. It's going to be right here. I did the stem to get me up close where I could count to make sure that I was going to have the right amount of space in between here, so that before I did any more border, I could know that that was in the correct relationship, and it was, so that was good. I came over here and did both that bird and this bird because, as you can see, their tail goes through the border. There's a gap of 2 stitches there that help you position both of those birds so that that's the only place they can go, so I went ahead and put them there. Then I came over here and I started working on filling in this little section right here of the border. And I got this stem and leaves done right here. So 2 birds, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, 205 stitches. It's making progress. Every time I pick it up, I can see a little bit of difference. So that's good, right? I am planning on taking this with me on my trip because I'm just so enamored with it. And I don't know that I will get to finish it in October, but I would like to. But with all the traveling we have, I don't know. But I will have it with me so I can work on it. The other prompts that I have to work on this week are to stitch on my biggest whip, which is Pandemic, which is great because I can't take it with me anyway. It's too big. To stitch on a whip containing letters, and I have mine as a sampler for all seasons. That may be it. Or I may do Cranberry Christmas. I'm not sure. But I have already Cranberry Christmas on the list for prompt number 4, which is to stitch on your whip that's closest to a finish. And then the 5th prompt was to stitch on your worst whip and tell why you think it's your worst whip. And that's the one I chose to use my coupon for because I don't look at my whips negatively if I can help it, because that can tend to make you start not wanting to work on them, or it does me anyway. So I just put a coupon for that one. So that's my stitching so far today. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I have done laundry today. I have gone out to breakfast with my hubby. I have done some errands with him today. And then it's been a big cleanup day because he finished painting our deck and he's been cleaning up all the equipment, the air spray, the paint sprayer, and everything had to be cleaned out. And so he's been doing that today. I've been taking care of the little one as a result of that, taking her out and about. And then I had a couple of phone calls with friends that had been scheduled. And I didn't get to stitch until probably after lunch. I cooked lunch and we had it here at the house. And now, in just a little while, I have to leave and go to choir practice. So my evening will be taken up a little bit, and I don't know that I'll get to stitch anymore today, but I am excited that I finished a prompt. I'm excited about that. So I am now going to get to do a little bit more planning for next year. I'm a part of the North Alabama Stitchers group, and I'm going to be doing a little bingo game with a few ladies there, and I need to get my bingo board set up. So I want to do that. Other than that, I'm good to go. So I'm hoping that I get a good deal of stitching tomorrow. I have the opportunity to talk to my friend Chloe. We try to stitch when we talk to each other. And then tomorrow evening, I'm going to get to talk to my friend Marissa, and I'm excited about that. So I hope to get a good deal of stitching in tomorrow. So I hope you've had a great week. It's almost the end of September. I hope you're wrapping up whatever you want to finish for the month. whatever you want to accomplish for the month, or just enjoying your stitching. Today was a cool fall day. It was beautiful here. It was a little overcast looking, a little gloomy looking, but the weather was great. So we're hoping it'll be that way tomorrow because my husband wants to take a nice long run. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing. I'm going to go get my planning started for my little bingo game, and I will see you the next time I have something to share. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Today is September 29th, Friday, and Autumn in the Village is the project that I have been stitching on for the last 2 days to finish a whip go goal. So, this is the Stoney Creek pattern. I started on the house in the middle, and I had part of it stitched before I started working on it 2 days ago, or yesterday. And this is where we are today. I finished the cross stitching on this center house. I have not done any back stitching yet, but I have finished all the cross stitching. And once I do the first row of stitches around the house, then I'll be able to do all the back stitching on the house. But it is looking great. I think I haven't counted all the stitches yet, but I know that I stitched over 500 stitches. I know I worked on it a little over 5 hours, but I had decided once I knew I was going to have enough time to hit my whip go goal that I would go ahead and just finish the cross stitching on the house. That was the small goal that I set for myself, and when I started on it, I had this little white awning and one color of blue underneath there done, and I had the doors partially done and the window framing partially done. So I did all the rest of that in the last 2 days, and it went by pretty quickly, pretty well. I'm pleased with it, and I think it looks really pretty. So looking forward to working on it again. I'm thinking, depending on when I pick it up again, I may go ahead and do the border across the bottom, all the way across the bottom. There's a big border with wording. See it there? And I very well may do that to anchor the whole piece. We'll see. We'll see if I, can do that. But I think that would be a good thing to put down so that I could have everything to stitch off of, as you go. But anyway, I was thinking about that today, that if I finished the house and I still needed stitches, I would start on that, but I didn't need the extra stitches. So I mentioned that was a whip go goal. It was right here. So I have finished it. When I picked it up, I had an hour of stitching I had done this month, and so I finished that today. I did actually worked on it 3 hours yesterday, so I had 4 of the 5, and I needed 1 more hour this morning, but I wound up putting in a little over 2 hours to finish everything up. So these are my whip go calls for the coming month on this board. This is my holiday seasonal board. So this is a new start, Noel in blue, and this is my Neige et Montagne, which means snow and mountains. And I'll be taking both of those with me on my travels. And on my second whip go board, it's a new start, Chubby Bird, and then it's the 13th Colony. And I'm planning on taking both of those with me on my trip. So this will be the last time that you see the Autumn in the Village for this month. The goal is met, and I'll be putting it away, and I'll go back to working on some prompts in the Daily 30 group for the rest of the month, stitching up a few prompts. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, this whip, even though it was a whip go goal, I'm going to be able to use it in my daily 30 group because I need to work on a whip containing letters. And I had originally thought that I would do a sampler for all seasons, but this house has the letters on it already, bakery, and you know the pattern has letters in here, and I have way more than enough stitches to meet the goal. So I'm going to use it as one of my prompts. And so in addition to Whip Go, it's met another prompt in the Daily 30 group. So I'm looking forward to posting that today and getting on with the day's activities. Happy stitching, everybody. It's a ball of tape. It's sticky. She's not sure what to do with it. Is it biting back? Is it sticking to you? Here we go. Woo. Oh, now she's good. Here we get you. Watch out. Oh, now she's got it. She gave up on it. Now she. Oh, don't tear it. Here we go. Watch out.